Hello, I'm Steven, the calculator guy, and today we're talking about mycelium. What is mycelium? Well, mycelium is kind of like a white fuzz, kind of like fungus roots that grows around a substrate and finally sprouts out mushrooms after... okay, we're talking about a protocol here. The protocol is a GMX fork. Now, if you're not familiar with GMX, you should be. It's probably the hottest protocol of the past few months. So why is it being forked, and what are the potential benefits? For what it's worth, mycelium is the #1 choice, or the #1 most popular protocol amongst smart money right now, according to Nansen. So what's going on with it? Well, a few things. Let's dive in. So mycelium, as I said, is a GMX fork. We can sort of look at GMX and then look at mycelium, and you'll see a few similarities, right? GMX, mycelium, GMX, mycelium. But first, let's dive into the assets and work slowly on the comparisons. So the first thing you want to do is go to perpetual swaps, not the pools, which has to do with skew and is a little bit different than GMX. And so I'm going to focus on the GMX fork portion and not the other parts of the protocol that are much more similar to Tracer DAO. By the way, this is a Tracer DAO protocol, which is going to have implications later on in this video. So if you go to the perpetual swaps, then you go to earn, you can see where you would stake your MLP to get escrowed MYC, which is the same thing as escrowed GMX. Now, there is some opportunity here to be quote unquote early. This is only a couple days old at this point, and if you want to really accumulate that escrowed MYC in order to get your multiplier points and all that sort of stuff that you would have done with GMX, then here you go. As a reminder, the escrowing takes a year. Also, by the way, it shouldn't be called escrow. In my opinion, it should be called vested, because escrow generally requires a third party, and there's no third party to my knowledge here. This should be like VE, but anyways, though there's a whole VE thing. These vested escrowed MYC, it takes a year to become unvested, but of course you can still earn interest and stuff on that while it's being vested. The APR here, 100%, by the way, in escrowed MYC, 0% in any ETH or wrapped ETH. So that's pretty important, I think, for users who are looking to get into this, because at the moment you're only getting escrowed rewards, and then if you stake your escrowed, there is no advertised APY or APR, which means that you're effectively just getting tokens that aren't doing anything for holding an asset. So you're early, right? You're early, and anytime you're early on a protocol, you're going to have a lot of additional risks. If we look at, for comparison, GMX in the earn section, you can see that staked GLP, which is MLP is their version, right? So GLP over here gets you 25%, but all that is in wrapped Ethereum. This is Arbitrum, by the way. So all of that is in wrapped Ethereum. That's really good. So you have 100% wrapped Ethereum APR versus 0% wrapped Ethereum or 0% Ethereum, and 56% in an escrow token, which you can't sell. So there's pros and cons here. But let's continue the comparisons, right? We can look at the chart for GMX and sort of see how it's performed and if you'd want to be holding GMX, and the answer is going to be yes. If you don't know, GMX has performed obscenely well through the bearish market. We can look at GMX USD. I wonder, though, honestly, if GMX has had a bit of a downturn given now this competitor, and it looks like it has. So GMX had quite a run-up, right? I mean, from July until early August, mid-August, geez, just 6 days ago, it was up 267%. So really a meteoric rise. And so, if you want to assume that MYC may do something similar, then perhaps you could. But again, new protocol, new risks, keep that in mind. So what is the benefit? Well, if we go back over here to the perpetual swaps, right, where you can do 30x leverage according to this, though I read in the documents it was 10x leverage, but maybe they quickly just went up to 30x, then, the biggest thing that stands out to me is the borrow fee. The borrow fee is incredibly important because the borrow fee is, in this case, 0.0013, right, per hour. So 24 hours, you'd have 0.02, which is much higher than your average funding rate, by the way, which is why when I'm hedging, I prefer other perpetual swaps like DYDX or Mango markets. But if you wanted to hedge on GMX, let's see what the difference would be, right? 0.0013 versus 0.0032. So the borrowing fee is almost 2.5 times more on GMX, and that's going to make a big difference, right? That's going to have quite a large effect. Now, if you look at available liquidity, we have 53 million here, and we have 2 million here. So that is quite a difference, right? 53 million versus 2 million, substantially less, but again, this is only a few days old. So 2 out of 50, that's 4%, so 4% the amount of available liquidity. We can check a few other assets, but I imagine it's going to be much of the same. So looking at Bitcoin now, we're seeing a 0.001% fee here, 31 million. In this case, we're seeing a 0.000, almost no borrow fee. The borrow fee is so small, it doesn't even appear here. This is actually enticing for a hedge. And actually, we want to go to short. I would want to go to short, right? Because I'm a hedger. 0.002 versus, again, 0.0002. So this is a tenth of the fee. And actually, this one is relatively competitive for hedging. There are many places that will pay you to hedge, but in this case, if you're looking for a swap on Arbitrum, there aren't really that many good perpetual protocols. This may be a competitor. Additionally, 3.9, let's say 4 million versus 15 million. So that's almost a third, almost 33% of the liquidity. That's pretty good for a protocol that's only a couple days old. So what are the major benefits? Here, again, you're having much lower borrow fees, which is going to mean you can hold these positions for longer without it eating into your position or your margin. And in this case, you're certainly paying more. So I will say, I shouldn't have used the term margin here. When you're shorting and longing, I believe you're actually getting token representations of your shorts and longs. So you're not actually using margin here. Like you're purchasing a BTC 10x or BTC 20x or BTC 30x, and then you can sell that later on. So like you can see, okay, well, they're not showing me the derivatives here, but yeah, so that's one thing that you should certainly be aware of. I want to go to the dashboard now to make further comparisons in terms of the GLP composition. So the compositions are rather similar. We have, in this case, roughly 47, 49. So we have roughly 50% stable coins and then roughly 50% unstable coins, or Ethereum, Bitcoin, Chainlink, Uniswap. Specifically for Mycelium, it's similar. However, it's like 60% stables, or it was last time I checked. Let me check again. So we have 20% roughly here, let's say 35%, 35, 70%. Whoa. So we're looking at 70% stables, roughly, again, quick math. 70, you guys can't see this really because my head, got a big head. 70% stables and then 30% unstables, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Chainlink, Uniswap, and then a little bit of Balancer and Curve DAO. I don't know why they have a tiny bit of that. Maybe they're making asymmetric bets on those going up. Frax share also, it's kind of inflationary. I don't know if I'd want to have that. Unless, of course, they're using that to boost some sort of yield there. I don't know. If they're boosting the yield of their MLP. If they're trying to get yield on that indexed assets. So there you go. That's the composition of MLP. More stable heavy, actually. So, for whatever it's worth. Stablecoin percentage, 69% right there. Tiny little numbers. So I guess I could have just used that instead of doing the math. But yeah, so that's it, really. In terms of the comparisons, I just wanted you guys to be aware of this. If you want to participate, you cannot, to my knowledge, buy MYC yet. You can only buy MLP and then start earning escrowed MYC, which is irredeemable for a year, or you have to vest it. So, you can get early access to it, but really what are you getting? I would say the multiplier points is the biggest pull, because those will help boost your yields later on. So finally, I think what is important and interesting to me is that Tracer DAO is already closely working with Umami, who has had surprisingly successful launches with their delta neutral products with GMX. So GMX, now a direct competitor to Mycelium, Tracer DAO, owning Mycelium or creating Mycelium, Tracer DAO also being partnered with Umami on their hedges. I see Umami working more with Mycelium in the future, and I think maybe even the creation of this protocol was a move in that direction. Finally, we have in Mycelium news, they mentioned that Yamashita was going to be an advisor and financial engineer for Mycelium. Now, if you don't know who Yamashita is, that's a pseudonym for Arthur Hayes, the infamous and famous Arthur Hayes. So it's interesting news, right? So like I said, Smart Money has been interested in this protocol. I'm not sure if they've stayed interested, but last time I checked, which was yesterday, they were interested. 4 of the top smart wallets had interacted with this protocol, and it has Arthur Hayes associated with it, Tracer DAO, Umami by proxy, and it is a competitor to GMX, which is highly successful. It's on Arbitrum, which has which is lacking in perpetual options. If there's a great perpetual swap on Arbitrum that I'm sleeping on, please let me know in the comments below. There likely is, right? I know a bunch on Optimistic Ethereum, a bunch on Solana, a bunch on like AVAX, but on Arbitrum specifically, I don't know too many protocols. I believe Perp is on Optimistic Ethereum and not on Arbitrum, but I could be incorrect about that. So anyways, this is just a basic introduction to Mycelium, just so you guys know about it and are aware of it, if you want to sort of be like early birds in on this protocol. So hope you enjoyed it. If you want to support this channel and learn more and become a member of the greatest DeFi community in the whole entire world, I think that's actually true, to be honest, go ahead and join the DeFi Dojo Discord. Launchpass link in the description. It is an amazing place. I love it. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your